Hi everybody, welcome back to Football Heaven 24/7. I'm your host Jamie. Right, there's a few things to get down to. One is West Ham won their first major bit of silverware in 43 years. The first time that they've won a European Cup in 58 years. They won the Europa Conference League last night, playing in Prague against Italian side Fiorentina, who finished 8th in the Italian league, but could yet be finishing 7th. And in Europe again next season, depending on whether Juventus get deducted points for irregularities in the pension fund. Using that quote out of Father's head, but no, so Fiorentina could be in the Europe next season, but West Ham, they went 1-0 up in the 62nd minute with a penalty from Ben Rama, handball by one of the Fiorentina players. And then Jared Bowen right near the end, after Bonaventura had equalised on the 67th minute, 5 minutes after West Ham's first goal, on the 67th minute from Bonaventura. Once they'd equalised, West Ham got a winner right near the death on the 91st minute in injury time. So congratulations to West Ham. They didn't have much possession there, 32% possession to Fiorentina's 68% possession, but obviously they made it count. You're seeing a lot of teams doing that. West Ham and Forest this season in the Premier League had some of the lowest possession in games, but both obviously managed to stay in the Premier League. So congratulations to West Ham. They finished 14th in the Premier League this year, but like I say, it's their first European trophy in 58 years, their first serious bit of silverware since they won the FA Cup in 1980. So hats off to them. It's my father's team. It would have been my team I'd have grown up where I was born in Essex. But anyway, we're gonna move away from that now. But congratulations to West Ham. Star player of the night, obviously, because of that goal, that winning goal near the end was Jared Bowen, and it was something he could celebrate. He'd had twin daughters a couple of days before, and he gets to tell his kids that literally he scored the winning goal in the European Cup final, literally a couple of days after they were born, or the day after they were born. So fair play to him. Fair play for West Ham fans. They're happy. 58 years it was since they won a European trophy in 1965. So yeah, up the hammers. But we're going to go on to other subjects now. We're going to talk about Manchester City. Now they're going for a treble, which has only been, well, if Man City can do it, if they can win this treble in the Champions League final on Saturday in 2 days' time, they will be only the second team in English history to win the treble, behind their local rivals Manchester United, or in level with their rivals Manchester United. They've already beaten their rivals Manchester United in the FA Cup 2-1 last weekend, and they've already won the Premier League, finishing 5 points clear of Arsenal. So it's on for that. They're playing against Inter Milan. Inter Milan had an alright season. They didn't finish too well. I think they ended up finishing third in the Italian league. Obviously, Manchester City have breezed it. Manchester City, along the way, have had notable wins: 7-0 against RB Leipzig, probably the third best team in the German league. They had a 4-0 win against Real Madrid in the semi-final, which was very impressive after a 1-1 draw in the first leg at Real Madrid. And they also beat Bayern Munich comfortably 3-0 at home. So my prediction for the Champions League final, I'm going to go for Manchester City to win 3-1. I'm going to go for Ilkay Gundogan because he scored 2 in the FA Cup. I'm going to go for him to score first, and 3-1 to Manchester City. So that's my prediction for that. So that's what's going on with that. Anyway, I'm going to jump into a few other things. I'm going to do awards for the season. So obviously, it goes without saying, the greatest striker this season was Erling Haaland. He finished with 36 goals. The son of Alf-Inge Haaland, who played for Manchester City, Forest and Leeds United in the Premier League days back in the 90s and the early noughties. But yeah, he scored 36 goals, so done fantastic. And he also scored quite a lot of assists as well. He scored something I think it was several assists on top of that, so he done really, really well. My prediction, I went for early predictions. I think someone's going to topple Manchester City next season. Arsenal came close this year, and you'd expect them to obviously probably build on that. But in reality, I think Liverpool's going to come out of nowhere. I think these players that Liverpool have bought in that were just finding their feet this season, Cody Gakpo came in from PSV Eindhoven, and so did Ramon Nunes came in as well from Benfica, and both those guys they didn't get amazing amounts of goals because they came in halfway through the season or just under halfway through the season. But I do fancy those two lads to kick on and get near 20 odd goals next season, both of them, and I think that will help Liverpool to get the title back off Manchester City. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to still stick with that, and I still think that in the relegation zone at the end of the Premier League season for 2023-24, I still think it's going to be Luton joined with Sheffield United, and then potentially I think that Fulham could end up dropping down. I think someone's going to get hold of Marco Silva. I cannot see him staying at Fulham. They're a small club. They're just not good enough to be winning Champions Leagues or challenging for Champions League and all that kind of stuff. So I can see probably Marco Silva getting taken abroad at some point, either this season or next season, but I think it's going to be a struggle for Fulham. I think they're going to get found out. A lot of teams do get found out in the second season. So yeah, that's my view on that. Looking into the Championship, obviously 3 teams that went down, Leeds United, Leicester City and Southampton. All those teams potentially they could come straight back up if I'm honest. But looking at it really, I think that Leeds will struggle. I think Leeds are in a lot of trouble now. They spent money on players that didn't perform in the end. Did absolutely shocking. Leicester City, only consolation for them is if Jamie Vardy can be fit, maybe Leicester City's got a chance of getting back up there just because of his goals and the fact that he'll be able to play at a better level, at Championship level, because he is a Premier League striker. But in all honesty, I can see all 3 teams struggling a little bit. I have gone for Leicester to finish in the top 2. I think I said I'd get them to win the league. But in all honesty, I think it could be another team that pops up there and surprises people. I think Middlesbrough have got a good chance. Michael Carrick did a fantastic job in the Championship last season. Took them from right now in the relegation zone, probably I think it was about 20 games into the season. In the last 26 games, he dragged them from the bottom of the Championship to almost getting promoted into the Premier League. So fair play to him. Look out for Middlesbrough next year. I think Middlesbrough are going to be in the top 2 position next year, or at least in the playoffs at the very worst. Sheffield Wednesday and Ipswich have come up from League One into the Championship, but also with Plymouth. All 3 of those teams had lots and lots of points in that League One level. I think they were way too good for that level. I think you're going to see a surprise. One of those 3 I would say out of the 2 bigger teams, Sheffield Wednesday and Ipswich, you're going to see a surprise team nip up there. I won't be surprised if Sheffield Wednesday, possibly Ipswich over Sheffield Wednesday. I think Ipswich will possibly have a good crack at getting into the playoffs or getting into the playoffs. Kind of like what Sunderland did with their first season back last season. Sunderland had a great season, just nicking in there on the last day in that 6th spot. So there's a lot to play for, and even if you go in lower down the table, there's other teams that have come up. If you go down to League 2 level even, Wrexham have come up into the League 2 for the first time. I think it was in 15 years since they was out of the league. Wrexham have got all that money because of their Hollywood owners. Wrexham, I think, are just going to go on and smash that league. I think they're going to either win it or at least get into automatic promotion from League 2 up into League 1. I'll make that prediction now. Notts County equally. They absolutely smashed every team in the Vanarama Conference last season. And if they can keep hold of that Macaulay Longstaff, he got 42 goals or 43 goals or something insane. I think Notts County have got a good chance of getting out of League 2 as well. And I'll go for a surprise. I'll go for, I think, even looking at League 2 for the 23-24 season, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking even Grimsby Town, I think, could sneak in there because they had such a good cut run last year, beating Premiership teams as a League 2 team, beating Championship teams quite comfortably at home. I can see there's potential at Grimsby. I don't like to say it because I'm a Scunny fan as well as a Forest fan, but I can see Grimsby doing something and getting into the playoffs next year. Maybe surprising a few pundits out there that have obviously played the game, but I think Grimsby will be a shout for the playoffs if anyone's looking at having a bit of a flutter. Going into League 1, Leyton Orient's come up from League 2. They were in League 1 years ago, going back several years. And they even got close to getting into the Championship, and then they had a rapid decline where they ended up falling into the conference after a few seasons. But now they're on their way back up, and they've got great owners, great American owners. They're getting sell-out crowds pretty much every game. I think that was more to do with the fact that they were near the top of the League Two most of the season. They won it comfortably in the end over Stevenage. Stevenage went up with them. Northampton went up as well. And yeah, Carlisle United went up. So congratulations to all those teams. I think, looking at Leyton Orient, I think they could end up being quite establishing themselves as a mid-table League One team. I think they've got enough in them to do it. My shout, coming down from the Championship, you had Reading and Blackpool and Wigan. And I think out of those three, Reading are the most likely to get back up. I would do Reading to finish probably second in that league. And I would go for somebody possibly, I don't like to say it as a Forest fan, but I'd go for somebody like Derby to have a good crack at getting back up there as winners of League One. So that's sort of like my rundown through the leagues. Looking at the conference, Rochdale slipped down into the conference for the first time in their history from League Two. I think Rochdale, I don't think they've got enough to get back up the first season. I think they're going to struggle like my second team, Scunny, did. They dropped down. I don't think they're going to drop as far as Scunny did. I think they're going to probably end up mid-table in the conference, Rochdale. And I think that Hartlepool as well, Jeff Stelling's team, I think they're going to struggle a little bit. But I'll probably put Hartlepool to get in the playoffs, just narrowly, maybe finish 6th or 7th in those conference playoffs. So, yeah, that's sort of like my mini review of what I think the possibilities are from the teams that have got relegated and the teams that have got promoted from last season. Yeah, as I say, Manchester City on Saturday in 2 days' time against Inter Milan. They win that, they equal what Manchester United did back in 1999, and they win the treble of the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Champions League. So, as I say, my prediction, I think 3-1. I think Ilkay Gundogan to score first. I think that Haaland will probably be on the score sheet, and I'm going to go for Jackie Grealish as well to be on it. That'll be my predictions, and then I'll go for Martinez to score for Inter Milan. So that's the way I'm looking at it all. Whoever you support, I hope they get some good players in over the summer. The transfer window is opening on the 14th of June, which is not long away. It's literally only 6 days away, so that'll happen. The Premier League fixtures are coming out the day after that on the 15th of June for the 23-24 season. So it'll be interesting to see on the 15th of June, on which basically a week from today, who your team will be playing first in that Premier League season. And as I say, Burnley, Sheffield United, and I can't remember the team. And Luton Town. Sorry, Luton Town for the first time in 31 years got back up into the top league. Those three fans in particular will be looking to see who they've got on the first day of the season. But yeah, good luck to everybody. Hope you get some good players in, as I said earlier. And thank you to all those that like and subscribe. Keep getting behind us, and have a great weekend when it comes up. Bye for now.